Hello and welcome to another video tutorial here on allaboutbodylanguage.com. Now in these series of 5 helpful hints, we're going to be talking about how to excel at a job interview. Now then, these 5 tips don't necessarily guarantee that you will get the job, but they will certainly help you better than if you didn't employ these on your next interview. So, the first tip I will give you about going for a job interview is to always offer your hand first during the handshake. Now, this is a great way of building silent rapport with the interview panel or the interviewee. Now, by offering your hand first, it shows that you are both confident and polite, and these are 2 traits that your potential future employer are looking for. Now, the best advice I can give you about the handshake is to try and mirror back the strength you get. Now, there's a good reason for this, because if you give a handshake that is too strong than you receive, you might be perceived as being quite dominant, and again, that's not a trait that an employer is looking for. And again, if you don't mirror back the handshake and it's too limp, they might think that you are quite weak, and again, it's quite not the message you want to send out. So again, try and mirror back the same handshake, but always offer first. And another good tip from the handshake as well is always be offered to be sat down. So don't just sit down straight away. Just wait for them to say, "Oh, please have a seat." That's a good tip. So number 2 on the helpful hint stage is the eye contact. Now, a lot of people are quite afraid of direct eye contact, and again, this can quite look like you're nervous or shy, and again, these are not desirable traits that an employer is looking for. So between roughly 3 to 5 direct eye contact and then break. So again, that is quite culturally acceptable here in the UK and other English-speaking countries, but again, if you go to other parts of the world, just research what eye contact is acceptable for that country or nationality. So in the third category of this is making sure you use the appropriate hand gestures at the right time, and especially the steepling gesture, which I'm doing here. Now, bringing about the steepling gesture implies that you have all the answers and are full of confidence about what you're talking about. Now, this often can work in your favour if you're talking about a project which you excelled at. If I was telling you about how I've successfully achieved all my sales targets for the last 5 years, bringing in the steepling gesture will just add intensity to what I'm saying and make it sound like, well, this guy's pretty good. However, if I continuously use this gesture throughout the interview, it will make me look pompous, and it's a very unprofessional gesture to send out. It looks like I've got all the answers to everything and I'm the most desirable candidate. However, that's not the impression that will be sent out to the panel. So that's number 3. So use the steepling gesture sparingly at the right moment. Now, number 4 is called impression management, and this is trying to mimic the behaviour of the interview panel. Now, you must be very shrewd with this one, because if the interview panel spot that you are intentionally mimicking their positions and their hand gestures, you will be rumbled and you will not be employed, purely for the fact that you are unable to consciously relax and you're trying to make a good impression. However, you are trying to mirror their body language all the time. So it's a bad look. So try and just mirror them subtly, and if you do it right, it will leave a lasting impression on the panel, because they will go away and think, God, there was something about him that I really, really liked. And it's often because you have mimicked parts of their body language in which they can relate to. So it might just put you one higher than the other person they've interviewed. So again, so it's good 4 tips there. And the final one is always ask good questions that relate to the company's future. Now, a lot of people don't do this. So if you ask a good question, saying in 6 months' time, where do you see the company, or where do you see this job going? And they say, oh, we're looking to increase in new areas and new ideas, new initiatives, new sales techniques. Then you reply back with saying something like, oh, well, I've had a lot of experience in that field, and I'll be able to help you meet those targets and go beyond that. What do you think about that? And then bring out the steepling gesture. Bingo. They're going to remember that gesture and think, actually, this guy's actually going to help the needs of the business. And that's what they're trying to employ you for, is to help them progress in a difficult economic climate at the moment. So just to recap, from the top, always good opening handshake. Make sure you mirror back the strength you receive. Second one, make sure the eye contact is there, roughly 3 to 5 seconds. And the third one, making sure you use the steepling gesture sparingly. It'll make a good lasting impression, make you more confident, but again, don't use it all the time. The fourth one is called a postural echo, or the intentionally mirroring your body language of the interview panel to make a good, silent, lasting impression, but again, use that sparingly. And number 5 is asking questions that relate to the company's future. And then when they say, oh, we're looking for someone to increase sales in this part here, you mimic back saying, oh, I've had experience in that particular field. I will be able to help the needs of the business. So there you go. So those are my top 5 interview techniques here on allaboutbodylanguage.com. Make sure you check out our other videos as well in this How to Do series. And I'm going to do a few more interview techniques along the lines and interview, flirting and dating, and make sure you check out my work on line interception. So for more videos, please check out allaboutbodylanguage.com.